across the Caribbean and in the diaspora, good evening to you. Welcome to THG. This is Mervin Hanley. It is Tuesday, 16th September. If this is your first time here with us tonight, we always ask our first-time viewers and listeners to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you do not miss programs and information such as this. Now, Caribbean, tonight we'll focus on the island of Anguilla. Lots happening there since the February 2025 elections, where the island made history in electing the first female premier in the name of the Honorable Cora Richardson Hodge, along with her team, the Anguilla United Front. Well, there is one person who had lots to say last night, first heard on Klass FM with DJ Hammer. That will be Thomas Eddie Kelly, a native of Anguilla. So without any further ado, let's hear what he had to say. Just in case you missed it, here is Thomas Kelly.
Good night. There's a couple issues, Hammer, that I want to ruminate. Okay. Number one, I want to talk about the voters list. And I also want to speak specifically about the cleanup project that the AUF has had to do on all of the APM projects. And then at the end, I will break down the entire ABC saga, showing the lies of the APM. Now, Hammer, you know, I've been trying to come up with a word that summarizes someone that just lies, or individuals that just lie in their subconscious. And I didn't know there was a term for it, Hammer. It's called pseudologia fantastica. And it's known as pathological lying, which is a psychiatric phenomenon characterized by persistent, pervasive, and often compulsive lying. Now, Hammer, the last time I was on your show at any major extent was February, maybe a week or two before the elections, right? And I'm sure you know how and what happened on that radio show. So there's no need for me to go back and talk about that. So what I've done, Hammer, is I've sat back and listened for several months. And I've listened intently on the lies that I've heard Hayden and Merrick spewing. I've listened and I took notes, and I waited until they couldn't take back the lies they told, Hammer. In other words, as Anguillians would say, they were given the rope and they proverbially hung themselves. So today, Hammer, is reckoning. It's reckoning today.
Reckoning time.
Now, so now, Hammer, we're going to start with the voters list. Now, this has been a subject that has been ruminated on for several years. You know, you've heard the gentleman over on the other station talk about, you know, this has been a problem of the AUF. The AUF caused this. Well, Hammer, about a week ago, the governor was on Keith Stonegrave's show. And she stated specifically that the deputy governor sent a paper, and I want Anguillians, here's the problem. You guys have to stop listening to individuals that cannot back up anything they say with fact. Every single thing that I will speak about tonight will be backed up with fact. So, and when I finish this statement, Hammer, you'll play the clip. You play it.
Okay.
Now, the governor, approximately a week ago on Keith Stonegrave's, when she was asked about why was the voters list not acted on, why was it not cleaned up, she stated that the deputy governor, during the APM tenure, sent a paper to the APM stating that they could go ahead and make the changes that they wanted as it pertained to the voters list. I don't know if Anguillians are aware of that. But do you know what the APM did? They did nothing. They did nothing. Now, Hammer, I just sent you a clip.
Okay. I saw it.
Okay? Play it. I want you to play it for Anguillians to hear, because it's extremely important, Hammer, that the narrative that is created on fact and not lie and innuendo at all. So we're gonna definitely ruminate a lot of things today, and after that, there'll be a lot more clarity in Anguilla after tonight.
Okay.
So I'd like you to play that clip, Hammer.
Okay, let's go. All right, let's go. Clip one.
I'm referencing here, Governor, reference was made to the voters list, for example, the constitutionality and the 2020 court report. All of those were contained in that document. I'm So asking the question against that background and context. Okay, in terms of recommendations.
Okay, but that is, that's been a long-standing recommendation. Yes. You and I have debated it many times, the fact that the register, and I've never shied away from the fact that the register is not an accurate reflection in terms of the number of people who are likely to be eligible to vote under the Constitution. We all know that there's more people on that register than are currently resident in Anguilla and likely to be eligible. The question is, what do you do about that? Now, the Constitution is very clear.
Hold on, Eric, give me a minute, please. Mute your microphone from there.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
Yeah. Mute. Let's go. Okay.
We're doing.
I'm referencing here, Governor, reference was made to the voters list, for example, the constitutionality and the 2020 court report. All of those were contained in that document. I'm asking the question against that background and context.
Okay,
in terms of recommendations.
Okay, but that is, that's been a long-standing recommendation. Yes. You and I have debated it many times, the fact that the register, and I've never shied away from the fact that the register is not an accurate reflection in terms of the number of people who are likely to be eligible to vote under the Constitution. We all know that there's more people on that register than are currently resident in Anguilla and likely to be eligible. The question is, what do you do about that? Now, the Constitution is very clear that the responsibility for setting out the procedure for registering and by implication removing people from the register is for the House of Assembly. It's very clear that that is the House of Assembly's responsibility to legislate. The House of Assembly legislated in 2019 on the Elections Act. The Elections Act sets out how you get on the register. It also sets out how you remove people from the register. Now, to change that requires legislation. As we previously discussed, the Deputy Governor brought a paper under the last government and recommended an enumeration. The last government decided not to proceed with that enumeration. That is the government's right to make those decisions. I cannot overrule the Constitution that says it's for the House of Assembly to legislate on these matters.
I've heard members of the last government say that is not quite accurate, Governor.
Well, the minutes of EXCO speak for themselves, so I would urge you to read the minutes of EXCO, which are in the public domain. I don't know what part they say is not accurate, but I can tell you the Deputy Governor brought a paper, and the last government, as the minutes will show, decided not to run the enumeration. I don't know what part of that the last government.
So it was the government's call
to not legislate, yeah. I mean, what the Act does do, as we've discussed before and we advertise widely, is it enables any registered voter to challenge somebody else in their district who they think is not on the register. And as you've previously pointed out, in 2020, a lot of people did that and people were removed from the list. So that option is also available. All the politicians knew that before the last election. If they felt there were people on the voters list who shouldn't have been on there, the parties, if members of the party or the candidates or any registered voter in the same district can challenge somebody on the register. But as far as I'm aware, no one challenged anybody before the last election on their entitlement to vote.
All right, so Mr. Kelly, you there, sir?
I'm here, Hamos.
Did I hear right there? Am I hearing right? My ears okay? Because I'm hearing from the governor in that clip there that it was the former administration refused to progress legislation. She asked for that to occur, and they would have resisted that. Did I hear right?
Hammer, you have the clip. You can tell this was an AI. You will see on the clip that I sent you, it was Keith Stonegrave asking the governor the question. Okay, and the governor giving her answer. So we've all heard the statements made on other radio stations. We've heard Hayden and Merrick make those statements. Okay,
wow.
But now we're hearing the truth. And I would like for Merrick or Hayden Hughes to call in and dispute what the governor said. I'd like them to call in, because then I have other questions that I would like to ask them. And hopefully they can do that so I can ask them those questions while we have a listening audience. Because it's very easy, Hammer, okay? When you are in your own little China shop, okay, to bully people and to make statements without anyone to challenge it. But today, Hammer, is fact check and challenge time. Okay, so now, Anguilla, you've got it clear. The APM had a chance to make whatever changes they wanted to the voters list, and they refused to do it.
And the governor said that loud and clear. She would have said that.
So now, Hammer, can we put that to bed now? Can we put that to bed now that this was all an AUF thing? Can we now put that to bed?
But the announcer also would have mentioned, that the APM said that she's not entirely correct. So what part of this saying is not correct?
Here's what her answer was. If you think I'm not correct, go and look at the EXCO minutes, and you will see the specific truth. So what I'm saying, Hammer, I can easily now go and get them EXCO minutes. Do you want me to do that? That's not an issue. I can have them to you tomorrow, and you can post them. So Anguillians need to hear the fact. We can all be biased along party lines, but the truth is the truth, no matter what you may interpret it as. It's the truth. And you have it in front of you.
Yes, sir.
They had the opportunity to make changes, and they decided not to legislate. Clear and simple.
Wow.
Clear and simple. So now that we've cleared that up, I mean, you can open up the phone lines for Mr. Hughes or Merrick to call to discredit what I just said. However, when they call, I hope they know that there's other questions that they will have to answer, because this is fact check and answer time tonight. Now, Emma, also last week, I heard statements made by Merrick and Hayden concerning the whole Bermuda Air situation, stating that the government entered into this agreement, that they were going to pay for airline seats and all these other things. Now, those two individuals didn't see a contract. But what we do know, that today, when the government of Anguilla had their press conference, those statements were debunked. There is no seat guarantee by the government of Anguilla. None. None. So when Merrick is making those statements, Merrick was someone that, outside of all the individuals in that party, I still had a feeling for. But he is quietly killing that feeling because he's falling under the same spell of the other individuals in his party that seem to have, who just can't stand the word truth. But we'll continue, Hammer. So we've just debunked those two lies. You can easily go back and listen to Jose's conversation today, and it will show specifically that the government of Anguilla did not enter into a revenue sharing agreement with Bermuda Air. That's a fact. That is an absolute fact.
Yep.
And I want the people of Anguilla to understand that when individuals are speaking to you and they're not coming with actual hard paper evidence, don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. Do not listen to them. Because according to them, they had nothing to do, they could not do anything to change a voters list. We show that that's a lie. According to them, the AUF government had a revenue share agreement with Bermuda Air. We now know that that is nonsense, and that did not occur. Okay? Did not occur.
Why do you believe this is happening, though? Why would someone say something that can be easily debunked?
Because,
why would you do it?
Because, Hammer, when you had the AUF of old, right? They just focused on plotting ahead, and they didn't answer the critics. So a narrative was allowed to be created. But this time, Hammer, this is not the same AUF of old. And they have to understand this, and they will be forced to reckon with it. Okay? No narrative will be created. You will be given enough rope to hang yourself, and when you're hung, you're done. And that's what's happening tonight. Now, we also heard a tremendous amount of bravado concerning, we did this in office, everything was done great. That's what was said, Hammer. Everything was done great. We were the best government. There was no wrong. We did every single thing by the book. There was no need for the AUF to go into office and clean up anything. But I can tell you now, Hammer, after what I have learned, I probably should call the AUF the Anguilla cleanup crew, because that is exactly, Hammer, what they have had to do since they've gotten into office. And Hammer, I can critique every single minister of government. I can critique every single one of their portfolios. And I don't know if they really would want me to critique every single one of their portfolios. So tonight, Hammer, you know what we're going to start with? Let's look at infrastructure tonight, Hammer. We're going to look at infrastructure. And we're going to let the people of Anguilla understand what's going on and what occurred. Okay? So documents were compiled, Hammer. And this is let's talk about the Blown Point Ferry Terminal. Okay? Poor planning and oversight. The facility, though urgently needed, was rushed into completion without adequate consideration of passenger flow and future demand. It is now found to be undersized and unfit for its intended purpose. More critical, the land previously acquired for expansion was inexplicably returned to private owners. I repeat, Hammer, I want Anguillians to listen carefully. The land previously acquired for expansion was inexplicably returned to private owners. What that means, Anguilla, the APM paid landowners for land for the Blown Point expansion. And that land was given back to those same people who were paid for that land.
So tell me about the money now. The money was given back to government, or did they give them money and the land back?
The government did not receive $1 back. Let me finish, Hammer. This was coupled again with financial compensation. This not only erased strategic foresight, but also created a double financial burden. Public funds were used to pay compensation, and now the government must spend additional resources to reacquire the same land. Now, Mr. Hughes can call in, and I'd like him to dispute what I am saying, and then I will have other questions for him that he will need to answer. I repeat, Anguilla, the land previously acquired for expansion was inexplicably returned to private owners, coupled with financial compensation. This not only erased strategic foresight, but also created a double financial burden. Public funds were used to pay compensation, and now the government, the AUF government, must spend additional resources to reacquire the same land. Now, Hammer, if this was not said tonight, Hammer, I will guarantee you in 2 to 3 weeks, the APM propaganda machine would probably go out and state, you know what? The AUF has the ability to go ahead and expand the Blown Point port, but they don't want to do it. Well, Hammer, here's the reason why it can't happen right now.
They give the land back to the owners, you're saying? Yeah.
Hammer, this is the truth, and I'd like them to call and dispute what I am saying. The lines are open for them to call.
So why would they give the land back to the owners? I mean, and the money too? What's the problem there?
Hammer, my mother always used to tell me, she said, son, you have a problem sometimes. You always think that people think the same way you think. When you get to the point in life when you realize that people don't think the same way you think, then your life will be better. That's the only comment I can make, Hammer. It's the only comment I can make.
Wow, crazy.
So I can't think about why they would make such a stupid decision, because they're not me and I'm not them. So that's the Blown Point Ferry Terminal, Hammer. Let's move on. Let's talk about the Blown Point basketball stadium. Structural and design failures. The stadium, another rushed undertaking, remains incomplete. Its design shortcomings are glaring. Most notably, the roof height is insufficient for regulation play. I repeat, the roof height is insufficient for regulation play. Now, Hammer, if you are a contractor and I hire you to build a home for me,
yes, sir,
and I'm 6'5", right?
Yes, sir.
And in my contract, you know my height, and you turn around, I give you the money, I go away, and I come back, and you build my house with a roof where I can't stand 6'5" in, Hammer. What should occur, Hammer?
Well, I can sue you. You can make restitution. You can fix it. You can remedy it too by fixing it. Yes.
Okay. All right. I'll continue. The roof height is insufficient for regulation play, rendering the facility unsuitable for the very purpose it was built. Now, I heard Vanya make several statements. Oh, tell them fix the blowing point thing. They got the money to do it. Well, Vanya, what do you have to say about this tonight, Vanya? I'm just asking you, what do you have to say about this tonight? This demonstrates, Hammer, a total lack of technical due diligence and stakeholder consultation. Because if you had consulted with stakeholders or individuals that are aware or have the knowledge and the wherewithal to be able to build a basketball court and do it correctly, this would not have happened. And you also have to understand, Hammer, right? The negotiations as it pertains to the land, and I'll go back to this one quick thing. The negotiations as it pertains to the Blowing Point Ferry Terminal expansion, those negotiations were being held with the landowners under the AUF to agree on the extent of compensation. And the APM gave back the land plus the money. So these are the things, Anguilla, they're never going to tell you. They're never going to tell you. So now we know what's happening with the Blowing Point Basketball Stadium. It's plain and simple. And if I am lying, Mr. Hughes, you can call in and say I'm lying. But then you're going to have to answer some very pertinent questions.
So in other words, that land, if we need it back now, Eddie, that land right now, if we require land to expand the port of Blowing Point, we have to pay for it again, you mean? We have to pay the same people?
Of course. I know, Hammer, of one specific family that resides out of Anguilla that already had a deal in place to sell their land. Nothing's been done. Nothing can be done, Hammer. It can't be done. So the fact of the matter is, Anguilla, when you hear people talk, have them come with the facts, or else they're just blowing hot air and smoke.
I tell you.
Okay? So let's look at the Clayton Lloyd Airport Terminal. Okay? Short-sighted infrastructure design. The new terminal was presented as a major achievement, yet it is already proving inadequate for future demand. Okay? Critical oversights. Let's talk about critical oversights. The absence of jet bridges, poorly located baggage screening facilities, and an inflexible layout, meaning the building cannot accommodate the increased passenger capacity expected once the runway is complete. So this represents a failure to align infrastructure with long-term strategic aviation needs. So what are you going to do now, Hammer? You're going to have to expand it now again? Where are you going to get the land now to expand the airport terminal? Because right now, Hammer, as it stands, airlines cannot have their full operations in the terminal. Do you know that, Hammer?
Yeah, I know.
Have a conversation, Hammer, with the airlines that operate right now and ask them if they can house their full facility at the new terminal. And I will guarantee you, Hammer, the answer is no. So when you say to me that you have planned this out correct and you have done it correct, Hansa, I say to you, Hammer, you are wrong and that is not correct. You can call and ask any single one of the airline operators.
So in other words, you're saying the space is too small for the airport as it stands right now. The new space already is too small for what's happening there.
Hammer, absolutely. They cannot house their full facility. The airlines cannot house their full facility at the new terminal. They have to find space outside of the terminal. I mean, I'm going to wait for Mr. Hughes to call in, then maybe I'll start talking about the Lansing Bowl. Or maybe I'll leave that for another day. Then maybe I'll start talking about the Jeremiah Gums and all the other roads that are incomplete because the lands weren't acquired. I mean, I can go on and on. I can go on and on. So what I'm going to do, Hammer, I'm going to leave a couple points. I'm going to leave a couple points, Hammer. I'm going to leave a couple points, Hammer, to see if they will call in or to see if they will rebut what I am saying, Hammer. Because the points that I am leaving are extremely important ones. Okay? Are extremely important ones. So I will wait, Hammer. Because this is fact check time. And the people of Anguilla deserve to know the truth. They deserve to know the truth. Not your narrative, but the truth. So, Hammer, tonight we've covered the voters list.
Yes, sir.
We now know that the APM had an opportunity to revamp the voters list and chose not to. That wasn't Thomas Edison Kelly's words. That was the governor's words, and she showed you exactly where to go to look for that information.
She said it in her own words. I heard it loud and clear.
Okay? And I showed you the fact. Okay? Number two, Hammer. It was ruminated for 2 weeks, for a week and a half, excuse me, that Bermuda Air had a revenue share with the government of Anguilla.
Yes.
Well, after today's press conference, from Mr. Jose Vanterpool's conversation, we now know that that is not correct.
He said so. He said it's a lie. He said so, man.
Those two things have now been debunked. So, as I said, I had a little bit of feeling for Merrick. But now, he's just like all of them. He's just like all of them. And it's sad to see that you will go on there and lie when you have had all the facts in front of you. So now that we've debunked that, and we've pointed out the issues with the Blowing Point Terminal, with the Blowing Point Basketball Court, and the Clayton J. Lloyd Terminal, I'll leave the rest, Hammer, for when they call or when they have had something to say in the general public. Then, Hammer, I will finish them off.
Okay.
Because I am not going to allow a narrative to be sold to Anguillians at all. Everything you say will be fact-checked and be debunked. So now, Hammer, we're going to move forward and we're going to have a conversation concerning the whole ABC situation. Now, Hammer, the reason why I am having this conversation, Hammer, okay? If Hayden Hughes, if someone came and said they were going to try to destroy Hayden Hughes's business, regardless of how I feel about him politically, Hammer, I would stand up for it. Okay? Let me just say that. Because wrong is wrong, okay? No matter who is involved. Okay? Wrong is wrong. So I put that out there right now. But when I see the lies perpetrated in this whole ABC saga, Hammer, it is saddening. From listening to Elkin chatting a bunch of rubbish, to listening to Merrick and Hayden for the last 2 weeks, and I just sat back and let them put their feet in their mouth. Because I can guarantee you, Hammer, after listening to Hayden and Merrick today, I know that all they do is talk. They don't look at any paperwork to see what the facts are. I am telling you right now, I know for a fact from the conversations that they had today, they did not see the determination that came about as a result of ABC winning their lawsuit. They didn't. Now, Hammer, this is what Hayden said. And then I'll send you the clip and you can play what Merrick said. Hayden said that the judge said, APM, you have to pay your legal fees. ABC, you have to pay your legal fees, but you also have to show us. Okay, this is important. You also have to show us that you passed on a credit to the consumer. No, Hammer, you know why this is laughable? You know why this is laughable, Hammer? Because it shows me that Hayden did not even attempt to read the determination by the court. He didn't even read the determination by the court. It shows subpar leadership, Hammer. Because you should never be fact-checked on stuff like this when you have the determination by the court. So let's go over it now, Hammer. The retail stores, Hammer, would have paid 9% on their existing stock, right? So July 1st, 2022, they were adding the 13% to the 9%. We're talking about a 9% IGT, right? So the stores would have inflated their prices by 22%. So instead of making the stores pay an extra 4%, they told them that you had to pay an extra 13%. This is what the government did, or else you would be in violation of the legislation and subject to draconian penalties. So on July 1st, smaller stores could submit their inventory quickly, right? Because they have less stock on hand. But the bigger stores, Hammer, was subject to a very short, stringent timeline. So therefore, ABC went to court to have the timeline moved. And the reason why they had to have the timeline moved, once the timeline is moved, Hammer, then they would put in for their credit, which they would have to get because it's easy to show specifically what you had on your inventory, show your list from customs, and it's easy to see how much you were paid, how much IGT you paid. Okay? So they went to court to have the timeline moved. This is important, Anguilla. They went to court to have the timeline moved, and the judge sided with ABC. So what Mr. Hughes said to you today is categorically incorrect. And the judge stated that the timeline was so egregious that it was impossible for ABC, as the largest hardware store on the island, to fully meet the government requirement so that they can get their IGT credit. So the judge removed the timeline so that ABC could complete the requirements and be able to make the submission.
Josephine said, told us that very same thing the day after once the ruling came down.
So I don't understand when Mr. Hughes says that the court determined that the government would have to pay their fees and ABC would have to pay their fees and ABC would have to show that they gave a credit back to the people. Mr. Hughes, you are a liar. You are a liar, Mr. Hughes. And the phone lines have been open for the last 30 minutes, and I'm asking you to call in and discredit what I am saying, Mr. Hughes. You don't have to do it by a forward or a voice note tomorrow. I am calling you mano a mano, get on the radio and tell the people what your truth is. But be able to back it up with the determination, Mr. Hughes, from the court. Be able to back it up. So, Hammer, the submissions were completed by ABC, so therefore the entitlement to receive the money back is due. So I don't understand what Mr. Hughes is saying, because this occurred, Hammer, under the APM administration. And they were supposed to satisfy the payment to ABC, but they did not do it. Why did they not do
One
that?
of the conditions was a big sale that they put on based on the same court judgment. You recall it was a big sale that they had for 2-3 days running non-stop, and I made the ad myself for them.
Correct. And here's the other point, Hammer. I have heard the APM consistently use the word, the AUF is politicizing. They're politicizing things. And Hammer, this is laughable, because the APM has built their mantra on totally politicizing things and alienating people. Because they did not like the fact that Mitch called them out, they sidelined ABC. Isn't that politicizing, Hammer? Do you remember, Hammer, when you got a T-shirt sent to you that said, not a nail?
Not a nail. Not a nail.
But I guess Mr. Hughes has selective memory when it comes to politicizing things. Hammer, do you remember that the four-man team got a job from the administration, did their job, and was sidelined and treated despicably? and called out in the House of Assembly consistently. But Hammer, today, Hammer, they understand the word it's incredulous. They now understand the word
politicizing things, yeah.
Politicizing. Yeah. I heard them today, Hammer, and it was laughable. It was laughable. Leon Lake, Hammer. Leon Lake was treated like a dog. That individual got off on the case. Did that individual get off because of politicizing and their political clout that they wielded, Hammer?
Connections.
See, but they have to understand, when you use that word, it becomes a double-edged sword because it will point back to you. It will point back to you. Let's look, I'll finish up the ABC thing, but let's look at let's look at that same word that Hayden used today. Okay?
He used a big word, man. He used a big word.
He made a statement today, where in order for him to get his point across on the difference between the old airport and the new airport, he brought up Bummy's name. Okay? And then proceeded to go down such a horrible path to talk about the fact that Bummy's brother got contracts and made money on the airport.
What?
Now, Hammer, isn't that politicizing, Hammer?
It is.
Isn't that politicizing? So the same thing you're saying is occurring. You have done it so well and so much, you don't see when you're doing it yourself. Now, Hammer, because Bummy's brother may have gotten a contract, should he not want to see the right thing happen for Anguilla and not allow it to go down the wrong path?
Of course.
Or should he just say, oh, I'm making my money, let me shut up?
Nope.
See, that is what Mr. Hughes wants. It's obvious that that is what he wants, because there's no other reason for you to point something like that out, because it should be normal for individuals to make money and be able to criticize when they feel like doing it.
Not an Anguilla, brother. Not an Anguilla. That doesn't work in Anguilla.
Yeah. Again, those individuals are politicizing things, but Hayden Hughes and Merrick aren't. They aren't. So let's go back to the ABC situation, Hammer. So we got to the point where the submissions were complete now, and therefore the entitlement to receive the monies back were due. This was due from under the APM. The APM refused to pay those funds, but guess what they did, Hammer? Guess what they did? They paid other establishments, Hammer. Okay, according to court documents, Hammer, 2 other establishments were paid their IGT credit. This was paid under the APM administration. But Hayden Hughes and Merrick did not say that today. Anguilla, you need to ask, why did you pay out from the government coffers the IGT credit to the other 2 establishments, but you didn't pay out the credit that was reserved to ABC, but you completely forgot to tell the people that you paid 2 other establishments out? You forgot to tell the people, or you just... I mean, it's incredulous, Hammer. It is extremely incredulous. That's why I say today, Hammer, it's fact check time. It's fact check time, Hammer. And I want Mr. Hughes to call in. And I want Merrick to call in and dispute what I am saying. Because today it showed me, Hammer, that they did not read the determination by the court. The court said, Hammer, that 2 supermarkets were paid the IGT. I want Mr. Hughes to call in and tell us who were the 2 supermarkets that received the IGT credit that ABC was denied, why they were paid and not ABC, and tell us how much they were received. Because you, Mr. Hughes, stated a number that was due to ABC, but you didn't state that you paid out 2 other supermarkets, and you didn't state the number. So can you please call in and tell us who the 2 supermarkets were and tell us the dollar amount? And the other question I will ask you when you call in, Mr. Hughes, is what was the cost to the Attorney General's office to defend this case against local businesses? a local business, and how much, Mr. Hughes and Merrick, was the cost to pay the friend of the Attorney General who was brought in from Grenada to prosecute the case against the local business?
No, against who, Mitch Lake?
Yes. I want
so they brought somebody in, hold on, they brought in a special prosecutor to fight against Mitch Lake and his company? That's what they did?
Absolutely they did. I'm going to ask the question again, and I want Hayden to call in. You don't have to send out a Trump meme tonight, Hayden. Just call in. If what Thomas Edison Kelly's line, make me a liar on radio tonight. Call in. Read a determination that I know you didn't read from what you said today. But guess what you're going to do? You're going to put out a Trump note tomorrow, and it's going to be laughable. Because guess what? Then I will come back on, and the other part that I am not saying, Mr. Hughes, then I will let the people of Anguilla know, and it will be worse. So I want to know, what was the cost to the Attorney General's office to defend against ABC, and how much the cost to pay the friend of the Attorney General who was brought in from Grenada to prosecute the case against ABC? Can you please tell us those numbers, just like you can tell the people of Anguilla the amount of credit ABC was supposed to get? Tell us how much that person from Grenada was paid. Tell us how much the two other establishments were paid, and tell us why you paid them. Tell us why you paid them. No, this is another mess, Hayden. This is another mess, Hayden, that the AUF has to clean up for you. It's another mess.
So the court would have said that Mitch should be made whole again. You're saying that. So Mitch must be.
The court specifically gave them the ability to submit their IGT credit, which they have to get paid on. End of story.
Okay.
They forgot about the timeline. But Mr. Hughes is telling lies and saying that the court said that the APM will pay their lawyers, the ABC would pay their lawyers, but ABC will have to show the court that the people got their credit.
That's not true.
What a crock of nonsense.
That's not true.
That is not the determination by the court. It shows horrible leadership by Mr. Hughes. It shows that he's fooling the people of Anguilla, and he's not telling the truth, because it's very easy to get the determination and to read it to the people.
But it was Josephine Gums-Connor who would have went to great length here when that came down from the court and explained that judgment to the people of Anguilla in great detail. I recall that being the case. Yeah.
This is not about, this is, Fama, from me tonight, this is not about Mitch Lake and ABC. Because if one business is allowed to be treated this way, they're going to do it to others, Hammer. And as I said before, if someone were to mistreat Hayden Hughes in his gym tomorrow in that same manner, I'll fight. I'll stand up for him. I'll stand up for him.
Wow.
Okay.
So how long is it now since that ABC has been out of, without this credit now? More than a year now it is? About a year?
It's over a year. The APM had the ability to do that. Again, Hammer.
And they paid for what you're saying?
Again, Hammer.
Yeah.
They didn't do it, but they paid out others. So Hayden, call in and tell us who the others were that were paid out and tell us the dollar amount. But since you like to talk about politicizing stuff, Hammer, since that's what he likes to talk about, then maybe he was politicizing the whole ABC thing and trying to make it into something that it wasn't. It's obvious. It's obvious.
So just talk about Mitch looking for money because he would have fought some campaign and want to pay back. That's nonsense talk you're saying.
It's a lie from hell. Tell Hayden to call in now and dispute what I'm saying. Otherwise, be quiet. Tonight is fact check time, Hammer. Tonight is fact check time. You've wanted time on Klass FM. I'm giving you the time, Hammer and Merrick. Hayden and Merrick to call in.
All right.
Because it's absolutely horrible. So, Hammer, in closing, let's recap.
Yes, recap.
So tonight now we know that the APM had the ability to deal with the voters list, and as per the governor, they didn't. She sent a paper down via the deputy governor, and they refused to act. So you can't play political football when you had the ability to make the change and you didn't. We also found out and know that the lie that Hayden and Merrick were telling, that Bermuda Air that there was a revenue share with the government of Anguilla, we now know that that is a lie. Today we found out that that is a lie. We also now know that the APM had the ability to settle this situation, not just settle, but to pay the funds back to ABC that it was supposed to get, and they decided to use it as a political football, and now the AUF has to deal with it. And we now know that that it is an absolute and categorical lie. So, Hammer, here's what we're going to do, Hammer, right? I'm going to send you the clip right now, okay? And this is what Merrick had to say, okay? And then I also want you to play the clip of the consultant, because it's very important for Anguillians to see and hear fact, because you can't dispute it. So I'm going to send this to you right now, Hammer. 1 second.
Wow. So I'm hearing there's 3 years now that that ABC are not being paid, but it's about 3 years now. This is the back and forth for about 3 years now. I'm hearing confirmation coming in.
But then you have to ask yourself a question: if the other two companies got paid, why didn't they get paid? Now, Hayden, remember, when you go out and you tell a lie in public, tomorrow or the next day, I'm going to be back, and it's going to be worse. So I would advise you to read a determination and come to the people and tell them the truth. So I want you to, now after what I've told you, Anguilla, I want you to play this clip that I just sent you from Merrick today.
Oh my God. Let's go. Let's go.
I just want to talk, but you realize how quick they are to pay a ghost, to pay a court case that they did not lose. But they don't want to give the everyday person an electricity credit.
Yes.
You realize that?
Yes.
You realize that?
Yes.
You realize that?
Yes.
They're quick to pay a ghost, quick to pay a company that they didn't lose a case to. But the everyday person who needs it, the same people who were dying and were so desperately in need of everything that they were preaching for before, they don't want to give them that little electricity credit. That little break.
Unbelievable. Incredible. Incredible is the word.
No. I think, Merrick, you're now incorrigible. You're now incorrigible, Merrick. You lay down with certain individuals and you're now incorrigible. You're now incorrigible. So this is what Merrick has had to say. So now, Anguilla, you see who's telling the truth. You now know that Merrick is a liar.
Boy.
He is a liar. And Merrick, you have the number for Klass FM. You can call in and dispute that I am calling you a liar, because I am saying it today that you are a liar, Merrick Richardson.
But these facts are in the public domain, though. The court judgment is available.
They think that Anguillians, they think that they will not be held accountable. And what I am saying to those individuals is that I gave you enough rope to hang yourself, and today it's reckoning time. And I'll be waiting tomorrow, Hayden, because I know you'll put out something, and I will come back on and I will destroy every single thing that you will have to say. Because Anguillians need to be told the truth.
I'm telling you.
They need to be told the truth. Okay? So I'm going to send you another clip, Hammer. Okay?
But we have to move, though. Press along. I have another guest, another brother.
We're going to move, Hammer.
Yes.
Well, you know what, Hammer? You can play those clips at your leisure, which I will forward to you.
Okay, later on, yes.
This is the last thing, Hammer, that I want to cover. Okay? This is the last thing that I want to cover. Last week, okay, I was very dismayed, Hammer, when we all heard Hayden and Merrick on their live. Okay? They didn't know that the camera or the recording was running. And they stated that they weren't going to follow JPM and Jamie and do a give back to their respective communities. They wanted to wait. So what I'm going to do for those respective communities, Hammer, okay? In North Hill, since Merrick isn't going to do anything, Vanetta I. Rose Richardson, she's doing a Kids Day. Okay, Hammer? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to donate $1,000 to that cause. And Merrick, I'm urging you to put your money where your mouth is. As Anguillians would say, match the donation, Merrick. Do something instead of staying on the radio and lying. So I'm going to donate. And now, Hammer, everybody that knows me, they know I don't come on and I don't talk about what I do or give. But I think, Hammer, tonight it has to be done because I'm going to call them out. So I'm going to donate $1,000 to Vanetta I. Rose Richardson's Kid Day because I love what she does in the community. So I'm going to donate $1,000, and I'm asking Merrick to put your money where your mouth is instead of staying on the radio and lying to the people of Anguilla. So you match it, Merrick, and if you match it with 1,000, Merrick, I'll give 2,000. So then she'll have 3,000 to disseminate through her community. Okay, and I'm putting that on record.
Wow.
Okay, so now we'll go to District 6 because it was very disheartening to have a district that has put Hayden in office 2 consecutive terms, okay, for him to make the statements that he said about not giving back. Okay? So in honor of 2 amazing ladies in that district, Dorothy Richardson and Everly Bradley, I'm going to donate 200 school bags with supplies to the Adrian T. Hazel School.
Oh, man.
Okay? I'm going to donate 200 school bags with supplies to the Adrian T. Hazel School.
When?
And Mr. Hughes,
when will this happen?
Mr. Hughes, instead of lying to the people, do the right thing by your community and match the donation so they'll have 400 school bags and 400 kids will be affected in the proper manner. This is what you do, Hammer. So I'm calling you all out. I'm going to give 1,000 to iRose's Kids Day. Merrick, if you match it, I'll give 2,000. In District 6, to honor Dorothy Richardson, a lady that I love, and Everly Bradley, a stalwart in that community that I love, I'm going to donate 200 school bags with supplies to the Adrian T. Hazel School. And Mr. Hughes, we heard what you said on the live when you didn't know you were being recorded. So do the right thing by your community, District 6, and thank them for putting you in office 2 consecutive terms and match my donation. That's all I'm asking.
All right.
It's simple. It's a small amount to show the people of your district that you care.
So when do you intend to make this donation to the Adrian T. Hazel primary, though? That's a question I have for you. Is it happening next week
Here's
after
what
next?
Here's what I'll do for Mr. Hughes. Here's what I'll do for Mr. Hughes. I'll be in Anguilla in approximately 2 weeks. So I'll give you 2 weeks. And you could show up just like how I'll show up. We'll show up at Adrian T. Hazel School. I'll have Miss Dorothy Richardson there and Miss Everly Bradley there to accept my donation, and you'll bring whoever you have to accept your donation. Okay? And we give back to the people of Anguilla. But I don't want to hear no talk no more.
Okay?
Because, Hammer, I do this in private, Hammer, and I'm sorry that I have to call people out and do it in public, but today it was needed. Okay?
And why was it needed? Because you heard these 2 spoke. They spoke on a hot mic somewhere. You said
they spoke on a hot mic, Hammer. And here's the thing, Hammer. What you do in private, Hammer, is really who you are in public. So they were on a hot mic and made those statements, basically saying they ain't giving back. They ain't doing nothing until Christmas.
Wow. Okay, that's what they said. Okay.
So I'm calling them out. Merrick, you heard it loud and clear. I'll give $1,000 US to iRose. You match it, I'll give her 2. Aiden, 200 school bags to the Adrian T. Hazel School in honor of Mrs. Everly Bradley and Miss Dorothy Richardson, another stalwart in your community. You match it, Hayden, and we'll stand up and give it. And you put 2 people forward that you will support. I put 2 people forward that I'm doing it in their name, and we give it to the school. End of story.
All right. Well, I hear you, Eddie.
Yes, Eddie. The last thing I might want to touch on, right? I heard all the furor around this whole school education thing with Shelia over the last 2 weeks. And I said, you know what? I'm going to sit back because I watched the mistakes that Deanne made, where when she made a mistake, she didn't apologize and she went down the rabbit hole of instead of meeting with teachers, she did it on a Zoom. But what I watched, Hammer, was a young lady who took the ball by the reins, Hammer. Okay? Went on radio and said, these were the mistakes that were made. Took the blame for other individuals, Hammer. Said, these were the mistakes that were made and fixed the mistakes. So I want to say kudos to you, Shelia. Okay? For standing up and doing the right thing, not just by your constituency, but by education. Kudos to you. So, Hammer, I'll wait. I'll wait for the forwards. I'll wait for the voice notes tomorrow. And then, Hammer, I'll pick a time. I'll need an hour this time for my rebuttal to what they have to say.
All right.
I've given them ample time to call in on a radio, Hammer. Right. But you notice, Hammer, how people can talk in their different quarters, but when they have the ability to address you in public and call out supposed lies that you are telling, Hammer, they refuse to do it, but they will send you a myriad of forward and text messages. And you know what I'm going to leave Anguillians with? I'm going to leave Anguillians with this one thing, Hammer. Okay? Today was the day, Hammer, a year ago that my mom died.
Yes,
right?
yes, I saw that, yes.
And my mom was a stalwart in our community, right? And to this day, I'm still known as Teacher Radio something, right? But Hammer, I can remember, okay, the day of my mother's funeral, and you remember this very well, the day of my mother's funeral, Hammer, I received a text message. I'm not going to say from who, but you know who, Hammer. And the person said in that text, and this was a family member of a major APM person, okay? And they said, Hammer, why would they allow that nasty, horrible woman of Aurelia Kelly to get buried in the Anglican church?
Oh, yeah, it was said.
Okay?
It was said.
These types of things, Hammer, are what motivates me. Okay? And that individual that made that statement is a major stalwart of the APM. Anguilla,
shocking.
Good night.
Good night, bro.
And be blessed.
Thomas Kelly, thanks, my brother. All the best. Take care. Bye-bye.
Wow. Thomas Eddie Kelly, he had lots to say. And we'll continue to follow all the developments there in Anguilla. I mean, you would think that by now, folks would settle down and concentrate on governance, which I'm sure the United Front is doing. But of course, the opposition is doing what the opposition thinks that they should do, and that is to oppose and perhaps cause some mischief. But there you had it, ladies and gentlemen. Thomas Eddie Kelly for you of Anguilla. And we'll continue to keep you posted right here on THG. My name is Mervin Hanley. Have yourselves a wonderful evening.
Nevis, satisfy your sweet tooth at Feezer's, the cozy spot in Charlestown, known for its mouth-watering ice cream and dal parade. We are open Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Come in and sample our patties, sandwiches, air-fried wings with fries, hot dogs, rotis, and now our famous smoothies, in all flavors, of course. And don't forget to try the famous bus-up shut and saltfish. It's Feezer's, located at the entrance to the Cotton Ginnery Mall in Charlestown, Nevis. They're also available by phone. So place your order by calling 1-869-665-2458. Don't ask about the rest. Just try the best.